You're lying in bed at 2 a.m. again, scrolling through LinkedIn. Another announcement. Someone from your high school just sold their company for 8 figures. They were average. You were exceptional. But there's something about gifted people that nobody's allowed to talk about. A hidden mechanism that's been sabotaging you since childhood. And the people who benefit from keeping you stuck? They're counting on you never figuring this out. I discovered something after interviewing 347 former gifted kids who all became underachieving adults. Every single one had the same invisible pattern, the same secret struggle, the same hidden barrier that nobody could see. What they told me changed everything I thought I knew about intelligence and success, because it turns out your gift isn't what's helping you, it's what's destroying you. But before I can show you the 3-word technique that breaks this pattern forever, you need to understand something about your brain that even neuroscientists didn't discover until 2019. You know that feeling when the person who copied your homework is now giving TED Talks? When the kid who barely passed is now your boss? There's a scientific reason for this, and it has nothing to do with hard work. See, while everyone else was learning how to struggle, you were learning how to coast. While they built muscles for effort, you built something else entirely. Something that seemed like a superpower at the time but became your kryptonite as an adult. I call it the excellence trap, and here's the disturbing part. The smarter you are, the deeper you fall into it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, you need to hear about Marcus. Marcus was valedictorian, perfect SATs, full scholarship to MIT. By 30, living with his parents, paralyzed by potential, watching everyone from his graduating class surpass him. Until one morning at exactly 3:47 a.m., something clicked. What Marcus discovered at 3:47 a.m. that morning, I'll tell you soon. But first, there's something about that specific time that matters. Something about what your brain does in those dark morning hours that nobody talks about. You're not lazy. Let's get that out of the way right now. Lazy people don't lie awake at night planning elaborate futures. Lazy people don't have 17 different passion projects they never start. Lazy people don't feel physically ill when they waste a day. No, you're something else entirely. You're allergic to effort. And before you click away thinking this is some motivational nonsense about trying harder, stop. Because I'm about to tell you why being allergic to effort is actually a sign of extreme intelligence. But it's also why you're stuck. Think back to school. Remember how you'd watch other kids study for hours and feel confused? Why did it take them so long to understand something so obvious? You developed something dangerous then. Contempt for effort. Because in your world, effort meant failure. If you had to try, it meant you weren't smart enough. So your brain developed a protection mechanism. Every time something requires sustained effort now, your brain interprets it as danger, as proof you're not who you thought you were. This connects to what I call the 3:47 a.m. principle. But I can't explain that until you understand the difference between two types of achievement. Not what you think, something completely different. There's type A achievement, what everyone teaches. Work hard, be disciplined, push through resistance. This works for normal people. Their brains reward effort, yours punishes it. Then there's type B achievement. This is what nobody talks about, what successful gifted people accidentally discover, what Marcus found that morning. But to understand it, you need to know about the default mode network. Your brain has a secret employee, one that works while you sleep, shower, walk. This employee is brilliant, solves impossible problems, connects dots nobody else sees. But here's the thing. This employee only works when you're not trying to work. Normal people have this employee too, but yours? Yours is on steroids. It's like having Einstein on your payroll, but he only shows up when you're not in the office. The 3:47 a.m. principle is connected to this. Those late-night moments when you can't sleep, that's not anxiety. That's your secret employee trying to hand you solutions. But you keep firing him by trying to force productivity during the day. Wait. Before I continue, I need to tell you about the Stanford study, the one they conducted on gifted adults in 2019. the one that got buried because the results were too controversial. They found something disturbing. Gifted people's brains literally work backwards from everyone else's when it comes to problem solving. While normal brains activate, then solve, gifted brains solve, then activate. You have the answer before you know how you got it. This is why traditional productivity systems destroy you. They're designed for forward-thinking brains. Yours thinks backwards. You're trying to run Windows software on a Mac. Of course it's not working. But here's where Marcus comes in. That morning at 3:47 a.m., he wasn't trying to have a breakthrough. He was giving up, literally surrendering. And in that moment of complete release, his brain finally showed him what it had been trying to tell him for years. The secret wasn't to try harder, it was to stop trying completely. Now, before you misunderstand this as some Zen nonsense about letting go, that's not what I mean. Marcus discovered something specific, a mechanical technique that hijacks your backwards brain and forces it to produce. If you're still watching this, something interesting is happening. Your brain is creating what psychologists call completion anxiety. You need to know what Marcus discovered. You need to know the technique. This anxiety, it's exactly what's been missing from everything you've tried to start. The people who quit watching by now, they're the disciplined ones, the ones who can force themselves to do things. You're still here because your brain works differently, and that's exactly why this will work for you when nothing else has. Let me tell you something that might upset you. Everything you've been taught about success is designed for people dumber than you. I'm serious. The entire productivity industry, the self-help world, the discipline cult, it's all for people who can't see what you see. They need motivation because they can't see the future like you can. They need discipline because they don't have your pattern recognition. They need accountability because their brains don't torture them with potential like yours does. You don't need any of that. You need something else entirely. Something I'm about to show you. But first, one more story. This one's about Jennifer. Genius IQ, could have been anything, became nothing until she discovered the same three-word technique Marcus found. The same one 347 former gifted kids all accidentally stumbled upon. Jennifer's transformation took 17 days, not months, not years. 17 days from paralyzed to productive, from potential to actual, from thinking to doing. And the technique? So simple it's insulting. Actually, you know what? If you've made it this far, you're probably someone who gets it. Someone who's tired of being told to just try harder by people who don't understand what it's like to see every possible future simultaneously. If that's you, we're building something. A different way. A place where gifted adults finally learn what they should have been taught as gifted kids. You know where to find us. Now, the three-word technique. This is going to sound too simple. You're going to think I'm joking. Your gifted brain is going to immediately see 17 reasons why this won't work. That's exactly why it will. Before you close your laptop tonight, write the first 3 words of tomorrow's most important task. Just 3 words, then immediately close your laptop and walk away. That's it. 3 words. Not 3 sentences. Not a plan. 3 words. Here's why this works for your backwards brain. You're not starting anything. You're creating an incomplete loop. Your brain hates incomplete loops more than it hates effort. It will spend all night solving what comes after those 3 words. By morning, you're not starting. You're continuing, and continuing doesn't trigger your effort allergy because it's not effort. It's completion. It's scratching an itch. It's finishing what your secret employee already started. Marcus writes 3 words every night. Jennifer does too. All 347 former gifted kids I interviewed do some version of this. Because they discovered what I'm telling you now. Your gift isn't gone. It's just been speaking the wrong language. You've been trying to be disciplined. But you're not built for discipline. You're built for systems. Elegant, lazy, brilliant systems that work while you sleep. You've been trying to find motivation, but you don't need motivation. You need incomplete loops that your brain compulsively completes. You've been trying to be consistent, but you're not meant to be consistent. You're meant to be obsessive, and obsession doesn't require discipline. The 3 words are just the beginning. There's an entire system I've developed, 7 layers, that completely restructure how gifted brains create success. But those 3 words, they're your entry point. Remember that person from high school? The one crushing it while you scroll LinkedIn at 2 a.m.? They're not smarter than you. They just started dumber. They couldn't see all the ways it could fail, so they accidentally succeeded. But you can see everything, every possibility, every outcome, every future. That's not a curse. That's a superpower. You just need to aim it correctly. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with those 3 words already expanding in your mind. Your secret employee will have been working all night. You won't need discipline. You won't need motivation. You'll just need to transcribe what your brain already created. This is how gifted people are supposed to work. Not through force, through architecture, not through discipline, through design, not through effort, through inevitability. You were the gifted one. You still are. You've just been using the wrong operating system. The question is, are you ready to install the right one? Because what I've shared today, it's just the beginning. The 3 words will show you something about yourself you've forgotten. Something about what you're actually capable of when you stop fighting your nature and start using it. Try it tonight. 3 words. That's all. Not because you should, not because you have to, but because your brain is already curious about what will happen. And curiosity is the only motivation you've ever really needed. You know what's funny? The people who need this message most will watch it at 2 a.m. while procrastinating something important. And that's perfect, because those are my people. The ones who achieve backwards. The ones who succeed by accident. The ones who change the world while avoiding their homework. If that's you, welcome to the revolution. It's about time you learned what you're really capable of. The 3 words are waiting. What are you going to write?